multimedia creative. I guess the first time I found out about film might have been, I feel like it's just always been around in my life because like I've always had family members who are really into photography and just like documenting family events and things like that. And digital, I guess, am on the brink of, the transition between digital and film. So I can kind of witness seeing that shift. I can remember in high school, Polaroids were really popular at the time with like the Fuji film, Instax little cameras that they had. And I always wanted one. They were kind of expensive for me. Even the film was expensive. And sometimes it's like, I don't have the $20 to splurge on 10 shots that might not come out, and they're super, super tiny. And so I remember in high school, when we had grad night as seniors, I was like, who needs a Polaroid when I can just get a disposable camera and it'll have that same film quality look? I mean, maybe an even better look. And so that's when I remember like first consciously deciding to shift over to film. Some of the aesthetic qualities I like about film, I think primarily it just has like, je ne sais quoi. I don't know exactly how to say it, but I feel like film photography just has like a texture that you can't get with digital, probably because of like the grain and how it's processed. But I think like, especially for me, film photography just has an automatic touch of nostalgia to it that I really like. It adds like an automatic sense of sentimental value that I really like. And I think a lot of my aesthetic or artistic choices in any medium tend to be driven by nostalgia and just like the desire or longing for a more rose-tinted past. With film photography, I think I tend to photograph portraits the most because I like portrait photography. And I think it's one of the things where I'm like, well, if I'm gonna spend all this money to develop, I want to show something beautiful, and I think people are beautiful, and they each have, I'm just like, I want to capture their beauty in a way where other people can also see what I see, which maybe that's a cliche, but I think I tend to do portraits on film photography the most. I think especially with Instagram and TikTok and things like that, like I'm constantly seeing different startup or like artsy companies putting out LUTs or Lightroom presets and things like that that are designed to emulate film, which they can only come so close. They can only come so close. I don't think that digital will ever quite reach film. If the film look is what you're going for, then you should just shoot film. And I think when it comes to digital replicating the sense and feel of film, it can be effective depending on the format that it's displayed in, because ultimately, like thinking about how things are, the end result of things really does have an impact, because like if you're viewing photography on your smartphone that's really tiny on a platform like Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, like it probably will serve the job and it does its justice having filters or presets like that. But if you're looking at, let's say, a billboard over here that was designed to look like a film preset that was done digitally, it'll be pretty obvious to see like that it's not authentic. So just thinking about the format, like they each have their place and they each can be useful. I definitely have a different mindset between whether I'm shooting digital or whether I'm shooting film. I think generally with film, I just tend to be a lot more conscious of the choices that I'm making, and I'll take a lot more time. With my digital camera, it's so easy for me to be like, click, 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 get the shot, and then look through them back and say like, okay, I have 6 out of the 80 that turned out great, but 80 shots on film would just be, whoa, it would be a little bit too intense and very expensive. So definitely in between, I might shift my angle or adjust the model here or there. And yeah, I'm just I think the pace is a lot more slower, and even just like my actions, my body movements, I tend to be a lot more intentional. Even the smallest things, I'm so much more aware of it. Also interested in like film and video. I've wanted to, for a while now, be able to shoot some sort of like short film on film, like in the traditional, I guess, 16mm or 35mm format that they have. I'm not quite sure what the project would be because that would require so much more intention than even just the level of intention I put into photography. As far as a photography dream project, I feel like it would be similar to some of the other projects that I've worked on at the moment, of doing environmental portraits, or like kind of like street style fashion photography. But I would want to be able to do it probably on a larger format because I've never shot anything more than the regular small format 35mm. At the moment, I've heard a lot about the Kodak Portra, and so when I was abroad briefly this summer, I finally like stocked up from my local photography shop, and I was like, I'm gonna try the Kodak Portra. And honestly, it's a game changer. Like, it's giving me the colors that I want. It's beautiful, it's warm, it's golden. It definitely has that nostalgia, warm, rose-tinted memory feel that I was mentioning earlier. And I really like that. The colors are they're just dreamy. They're so dreamy. At the moment, I've been mostly using this Vivitar camera, which I'm not sure of the name because I don't pay that much attention. I also have, so I like to use this point and shoot just on the go, or if it's just something casual, like shooting with friends, or just, yeah, something casual. But for my bigger projects, like for zines and things that I would work on, I have a Nikon SLR that I was gifted by one of my old bosses for my birthday, which I'm really touched because I had wanted a film SLR for a while, and it was hard for me to find. I didn't know where I was gonna get one, and he gifted me one. And the great thing about it is, like, because it's Nikon and I was already shooting Nikon, it's still compatible with like all of the lenses that I have already. The hardest part of shooting film, I mean, honestly, I do get caught, like I do get stuck when it comes to loading the film sometimes. It's kind of, I'm like, okay, let me do this as fast as possible, not as fast as possible, but like find a concentrated, quiet area and space where I can focus on loading it right, because it takes some concentration for me to load the film into the back of the camera. So I like to have that ready to go before I start anything, or if I know I'm going to be moving around a lot, there's a lot of change. I think everyone should try shooting film twice. Because the first time you're going to be like, man, this is hard. This ain't as easy as I thought it was going to be. And so probably 2 times, because the second time you'll know a little bit more of the game, and you'll see very quickly like the skills that you pick up on, the things that you're paying attention to that are different with digital. Because I think even if you're shooting on a digital camera or on your phone or anything like that, the instant gratification does change the way that you look at photos, the things that you're taking pictures of, and also the reason behind why you do what you do. The future of film photography, I hope that it doesn't disappear completely. I know there's kind of been like a resurgence of interest in film, and I mean, why else would we have digital trying to emulate film if there was no interest in it? So I hope that it doesn't fall off the face of the earth. And I don't think that it will, because like kind of like the OG artists who have been in it for a while will find a way to resort to film when possible. I don't really think it's going I feel like there's always, like, there's a niche for it, and I don't really see that niche going away anywhere. I just hope that, like, as more people are coming on board, they'll come to appreciate it and value it just as much as any other serious photographer, you know? My name's Sierra, and I shoot film.